Professor Brain Brown's research shows that vulnerability fosters good emotional and mental health. It is a sign of courage. We become more resilient and brave when we embrace who we truly are and what we are feeling. The Vulnerable Scientist podcast is a space for scientists to tell their honest and authentic stories. I am your host, Sarah Nyakeri, who happens to be a scientist, informal science communicator, and I help scientists create personal websites. If you want to support this show, go to www.patreon.com/thevulnerable-scientist. You can also follow this podcast on all social media platforms at TV Scientist Pod. Hi again. Welcome to part 4 of Dr. Tiambo's story, where I start by asking him why I applied for a postdoc, and more questions come in. And these conversations that we are having about his personal life and also the science part of his life. And I kind of find it interesting to know someone in that way. So enjoy. So tell me about why did you apply for a postdoc back at ILRI again?
Okay, so when you remember I told you I worked with, I was first invited by Rob Skilton. And when I was leaving, he requested from me, do you know any other fellow from different parts of Africa who can be doing the same work you did? I say yes. Because in Cameroon, as I was helping my supervisor to work with the fellows from Chad, from Gabon, from Central African Republic, from different countries. So I was connected also to some students in different countries doing things similar.
Okay.
That's why I shared the connections with Rob Skilton, and we started working with them, including some of the guys like Joel, who is at Egerton University now as lecturer. So I connected to them remotely and start building connections for them to come and do the same work so that we try to map the community of practice on chicken genetic in Africa. So I was doing it from Cameroon, of course, but I noticed that there is a need to come to be closer to this high-level science also to be able to support many others.
Okay.
That's why finally at 2016, I think so, there was a call for postdoc position here at Baker, and he was looking at developing African chicken genetic resources and supporting the community of practice. I say, wow, supporting the community of practice is something I've been doing already from Cameroon remote. So why can't I apply and come to Baker to do that? And at that time, I think Wellington was already the head of capacity building here. So, and he also encouraged me to apply, same as the others, staff from Baker. I said, yeah, okay, let me apply. And went through the same process of competitions, etc. And finally, 2017, I was recruited as a postdoctoral scientist in Baker with very defined term of references, what I've tried to cover. Was a 2 or 3 year contract. Date. Yeah, 2 years contract. I think I fulfilled all what was expected from me. Then 2019, I moved to the Center for Tropical Livestock Genetics and Health, and still based here in Nairobi.
Okay. All right. So I love this story. It's quite interesting.
Okay.
So what are the challenges that you faced after your journey through after finishing your PhD to now? Because now you're a scientist now, like you're no longer a postdoc.
Yes.
So what are the challenges that you faced during that period from your PhD to now?
First, from the PhD, when I finished, I was lecturer in Cameroon. Though I had a first grant, resource mobilization in the national system is not so easy. Particularly when viewed from Central Africa region, it's not really easy there. Though I managed to also have the grant with the One Health Center and Eastern Africa, that was called OSHEA. The name have been changed now to Afrohun. That's how from 2015 till 2017, and when I came here, I was then the country focal point for the project, which is in fact the bigger project is hosted at the Makerere University here in Uganda. But the first challenge is resource mobilizations to support your students. It is very challenging. Sometimes you need to put the hands in your pocket. And most importantly, what I faced when doing my research, I did not want really my students to be facing the same challenges. That's why most of the time I support my students when need be.
Yeah.
Because also my vision is you have to build a team around you. A team doesn't need always to be people closely around you, but member of the team can be in Australia, another in China, whatever, but you are working as a team. And these are also being challenged because to do that, to have a team working on the same portfolios, you need resources. And it is still the same challenge that we have till today because we need to build a team. But when you recruit someone, you need to at least cover the charges. The person needs to cover his personal needs, etc. And if it is the students, you need to make sure that you have the reagents, you have the consumables, you have the animals to do your research. Yeah.
What are the good things that have come out of all this research? As a person, like what are the highs that you've experienced from doing your PhD to now?
From the time I moved from the national system to ILRI, I've learned a lot.
What do you mean national system?
From the country level in Cameroon to ILRI.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like someone also moving from Cairo to ILRI. These are different systems.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot being closer to very high top scientists here. And someone looking at my research gate profiles or whatever will see that on annual basis, the quantity of publications I may have produced is quite good number and good quality. For example, this is something that has been very good for me personally. But now what we are doing is not for ourselves only. That's why we need to have impact at different level. And that impact may be the people I've mentored around me and people I'm still mentoring, for example, to also grow. And most importantly, how what we are doing could be having positive impact on the life of our farmers, for example. That's how I told you about what we are doing now on the crop preservations of poultry genetic resource. This is not only to safeguard the genetic material from extensions, but also to use them to improve productivities, meaning improving the livelihood, improving food security within our communities. And to do this, I am also working in close collaboration with Cairo, who is developing the Kenyaji, for example,
Do you want to say what calories?
Kenyan Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization.
Okay.
Yeah. So I work closely with them to make sure that the technologies that is developed and hosted here is transferred to the national systems, and from there they pick it to really transform the livelihood for all of us to have the good, sweet Kenyaji that we love. And for me, that is the most important thing, having the impact at the ground level.
Is there any challenge or high that you've experienced in your entire journey to where you are right now that is directly related to your career or not, maybe personal, but influenced your career decisions or whichever?
Yes, of course. As I told you, you always have people around you who inspire you. And at Ilri, you have a lot of people who are really inspiring. And there are also people who trust you, who you don't want to fail. Yeah, that is something that you have in mind. Even when you are down, you think about that, you say, I have to succeed. Because some trust was invested in me. I don't have to betray that those trust. People. Yes. And yes, when we are working also, as I said, when we are visiting farmers, you look at their need. You see what you can do to help them. It may not be so quick, also immediate actions. But when you come back, you say, what I'm doing, maybe if I just did this way, it can end up helping the farmers to cover the gaps they are feeling on their business, on their agro business. But the main challenge is always financial resources. There is a lot to be done. We need people to do that. We need staff. We need people from different experience. But sometimes we can't hire them or we can't keep them because we don't have the resource. Yeah. So this is one of the bigger challenge. We have wonderful ideas at URI from different teams, from animal and human health, livestock genetics, to socioeconomics and social science down there in Mara House, etc., that we just need to put together. But sometimes we lack funds to really implement all those ideas. But we keep pushing, and we have to bring on board younger generations, new talents, and people who are ready to transform, to migrate from one sector to the other and transform their sectors like Sarah is doing.
Okay. You mentioned that you still do photography when you're going for safaris. And also during the weekends, you also mentioned that you do something to do with going to visit the farmers, to the rural areas and, just having conversations. And this is actually not you're doing not you. At this point, as much as it kind of supplements your work, it's more out of fun, right?
Yes, yeah.
Is there any other thing that you do that is not related to science and it's fun? It's a hobby. It does not pay you. You're doing it for fun. What do you do on your free time?
Sometimes I read. I spend time with my kid when
reading.
Possible. Reading, yeah.
Which books are you reading?
Oh, I have a lot of... I'm French speaker mostly,
Sorry?
Mostly speak French, so I have a lot of French book here. Just literature, and sometimes also books to build capacities. Yeah. And
What's your favorite book? What's your favorite book?
Okay. I have them in French that I read, and I also read with my kid to keep their French here, because if you don't keep their French, it will disappear. So I can say, for example, Comment se faire des amis. This is one book in French. How to make friends, for example. How to connect to people. How to interact with people.
Okay.
Yeah, these are few things which help you in daily life. I've tried sometime to learn the Kiswahili, but I don't know why I dropped totally.
So how do you okay, so how do you connect with farmers who don't speak English? Or there aren't such?
So far, those have been connecting with, at least they speak English.
Oh.
Yes, I've not yet visited places where people are totally not conversing in English.
Okay.
In Kenya,
Yeah, sorry. So you said you also spend time with your kid?
Yes.
Why is that important?
Wow.
Why did you say wow? You never thought someone would ask you such a question.
Sometime before the COVID, we spent too much time traveling. So when you have the opportunity to stay with your kid, you can't miss that. Yes. Even just sitting at home, seeing what you are doing, taking them through their homework, or adjusting what behavior that you see not good or whatever. Then on weekend also like this, after all, you need to go and look for their lunch. Yes, whatever they need at school, we go out with them and look at it. Yeah. This is how we manage most of the time the weekends if I'm around. Yeah, having the presence of the kids, of the parents, is always something very important to give them better orientations, of course.
Thanks for talking about that. People don't find it important, but I find it important to talk about things that people value, scientists value in their lives. What other thing do you do?
Let me tell you that most of the time, if I'm not doing those, if I'm not traveling, if I'm not with them, if I'm not with a friend, some of the few friends I have here in Nairobi, you will find me in the office. I have to prepare my week as well. So sometimes, when you have your own private agenda, right?
Okay.
You have few things that you want to push, which are totally not connected to your TOR, your job TOR. So you need to find also 1 or 2 hours to push those things. And sometimes you find yourself with a piles of activities that you left since 2 years that you need to push. Yeah.
What are those things? Do you want to share them?
Okay. For example, now, when today in the office, I'm not working on the current activities that we are implementing, the ongoing activities. But since few days, I've been working with colleagues from the Bed of Prey Trust in Kenya to see how the technology we are using here can be used by the Kenyan Wildlife Service or those conserving wildlife to save the bird of prey in Kenya. Just a few weeks ago, as I told you, I read everything. I was reading even on my phone. I noticed that birds like vultures, eagles in Kenya are severely threatened because of it can be drought, lack of food, but mostly in Kenya because of poisoning by populations.
A what?
Poisoning.
Oh.
Yes. So you notice that is also an area. Of course, it's wildlife. I'm not working automatically in wildlife, but the technology we are using can help. A weekend ago, when I was in the Nakuru County, in the field, I used that opportunity to visit one of the bed of prey center in the somewhere within Naivasha to see exactly what are the challenges being faced by the owls, by the vultures, by the eagles, etc. And they told me, for example, a vulture is laying only one egg per year for 15 years. They reach sexual maturity at 8 years, etc. And when you look at that and you look the numbers which has been killed in the communities, see that in the next 5 to 10 years, Kenya will no more have vulture. So what should be my contribution to that? If I have a technology, if I can share the innovation with others. So I start the discussion with those who are only in pure conservation, and we can launch a discussion. Sometimes we can even meet some weekends and just discuss openly around that. I learn from them. I share what they are doing, what we are doing. If we can help, you good. If not, at least I've learned something, or they have learned something from me, and we move. So this is how I spend some time, on the weekends, exploring things which may be helpful or not sometimes. Sometimes you just, I don't have Facebook account, but in some other links, like Twitter, whatever, you go there, you see what people are discussing about, etc. Maybe inspire you, maybe you contribute to the discussions. Sometimes, like on LinkedIn, you can meet new people, friends that you left 20 years ago. So that's happened also.
Okay.
But things like Facebook, TikTok, which I sometimes...
You're on TikTok?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Which sometimes you're saying something.
I can say those things sometimes can spend your whole day and you don't know what you really did. You are just scrolling, reading endlessly. And you start on the A point, you don't know how you reach the Z point. You are just connecting from things to things. Sometimes at the end, you don't know exactly what you are looking for. I say no. Yeah.
Oh, you were on those sites, then you deleted your accounts.
I had a Facebook account initially for almost 2 years, but I noticed it was not helping me really. Sorry for those who are using it, but for me...
It's okay. Everybody has a preference. It's okay. It's totally okay. So, you had mentioned something that you went to apply for the ILRIF fellowship using in the Cybercafe. Sorry, how much did you pay? I have to ask this for the Cybercafe.
That time we were paying Cybercafe almost $1 per hour.
$1 per hour, okay.
Yeah, it was around $1 per hour those days. There was no computer, laptops like it's available everywhere now, and internet connections where you can use your Safaricom data and connect it. It was not like this. So we had to go to internet. Let me tell you, when we are doing our MSc sometimes, the whole batch, I don't know, we had 12 of us doing that in that group of MSc. one of our lecturers was coming from Vienna. It was called Professor Oskov.
Vienna, Austria.
Yes. And he gave us a laptop. Not a laptop per person, but a laptop for all of us. That was a great innovation for us.
He might not know, but it was so life-changing for you guys, right?
Yes. Now, instead of using the desktop, that big desktop of those days, at the office to type your stuff, when going back home in the evening, if you book the laptop earlier, you can go and spend the night with the laptop. So you spend your night typing all your text, etc. And in the morning, you give the laptop, you save your document in the floppy disk. You have to buy a lot of floppy disk because you want to save few scans. The floppy disk is already full. You move to another floppy disk. So the laptop was, in fact, a great innovation for us. And
why are you getting the internet? When you go home?
At that time now, at the end, no. When you are going home, you are not using internet.
Oh, you just write
your document.
Oh,
You're just writing your document on Word and save it. If you want to go and send something now, you go.
You're gone.
Off.
Sorry, you are gone for a while.
My battery is going down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my battery is going down. That's why. The next 10 minutes.
Do you want to charge? You don't have a charger?
I don't have a charger here. I love it.
Okay. So I just to finish off. The reason why I'm asking that is there a difference between being in Cameroon and Kenya?
Of course, there's a difference. When you are where you have the bigger family, you have the friend you grew up with, and hello?
Yes, you're back now.
You have your shamba very close. Yeah, you're having your shamba very close, having your friends, your very old friends, and the extended families close, etc. It's always different. It's always different.
Okay.
And of course, there you see everybody in the street will be talking in French or in Pidgin English or whatever, or local language. I have no one to talk my local language with here. See? So that can be different sometimes. And my kids are not talking it at all. But it's also good because you learn new things.
You learn?
You learn how to enjoy chapati, enjoy nyamashoma, the way it's done here, etc. You go out, you enjoy some other exotic food, fruits, vegetables that are not. So you explore new things, new friends, new contact, new science, etc.
Okay. Yeah. Last question. How do you feel after having this conversation?
Yeah, always go to share the experience with others. It's wonderful. Of course, when starting, you don't know where exactly you'll be landing. When started talking, it's not something you wrote somewhere that you're going to read. It's just coming from your heart, from your brains, and you share it. It's very nice.
Thanks for listening to this conversation. If you have any questions, input, or comments, kindly click on the link on the show notes and record your message, and that would be featured depending on your requests, that will be featured on the next episodes.